Today we've got a 2016 Ram 3500 in the shop. I'm going to be showing you guys how to install the new GTR Lighting Smart PWM ballast. Now you've probably seen the Type A and Type B install, and the Type B install is a little daunting. We've got this. This is so much better. You're going to love it. The first step in taking one of these trucks apart is removing this engine cover up here. It says heavy duty on it, and there are 4 plastic clips on it. You can't miss them. And you can use pretty much any pry tool to get them up, just like that. This pry tool I think is made by Lyle. You can get it at any parts store. It's like less than 10 bucks. It works so good for this. Trust me, if you get one, you'll use it for other things too. All right. We can just toss this back here for now. And now we've got 4 10mm bolts to get this grill off. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 up top. 2 of them have different thread pitches. I'll show you that in a second. So the ones in the center have this thread pitch, and they thread into metal. The 2 on the outside have this thread pitch. They thread into plastic. Don't get them mixed up. Set those in a safe place. Now to remove this grill, if you've never taken this grill off your truck before, it's going to be a little tight, and you're going to have to pull on it and give it just the right amount of outward pull. And there it is. This is what the clips look like on the back side. That's what you're pulling against. You're trying to get those to release. It's really not too hard. Just give it a yank. All right, now on the front of the headlight, you've got 2 10mm bolts. You got one on the top firing this way. You've got another long one firing downward, and we need to remove those. And you can use anything to get them out. You can use a wrench, you can use a ratchet. I've got an extension with a swivel on it for this one. And these are 2 totally different lengths. The longer one goes on the bottom, the shorter one on top. Now to get this headlight out, there's a tab on the back side. I'm going to show you guys that as best I can. And you need to reach up there and just pull down on it. And in doing so, it's in the wheel liner. In doing so, you'll release this headlight. The reason I took these bolts out first is so that you can kind of shift it around while you do that. It just makes that go a little bit easier. So I'm going to do my best to show you guys this. There's a trap door in your wheel liner. And it's right here. It's right behind the headlight. And all you got to do is reach your finger under it and pull it out. On some of these trucks, there is a push pin here, just like you had at the top of the engine bay. And so if you have that, just use your panel popping tool, get it out of there. Now, you're gonna see a clear plastic lever in there, and you can reach your fingers up and pull that down. And like I said, it's hard to show on camera. It is there, and you should hear it click down once you get it. If you got a flashlight and you can peek up in here, you'll see it no problem. The next step is to take the headlight itself out of the truck. And there's a tab on the back side that'll fight you a little bit. Just rock it back and forth, and you should feel it release, just like that. Go ahead and pull it toward you. There is a harness on the back side with a little tab at the top. Just push up on that tab, and it should unplug. Now sometimes those tabs are kind of tight, and so if you have to use a screwdriver to get it off, no problem. Just pry, you'll see what I'm talking about. In this case, it wasn't so bad. Next, we're going to install our HID bulbs into the back of this headlight. And to do that, you need an 8mm socket to get these bolts out. Set those off to the side. Now we're going to be doing our low beam right now. This is our low beam bulb. So you can give that a twist, pull it out, yank this little connector off, set that bulb to the side. At this time you can grab your HID bulb, which I've already unpackaged, and install that into the back of the projector here. Now make sure you clean that bulb off. I've already prepped these and cleaned them up. You can use rubbing alcohol. They should come with some. Connect this here. Now, positive on these is the green wire. So you want your red wire on the HID bulb to go to the green wire. Make sure you get that right, otherwise you're gonna have to take this all back apart and correct that. Green, red. At this time, we're gonna D-pin our connector and drill a hole in our dust cover to pass our wiring through. If you don't know how to do that, or if you have any questions on that, watch our D-pinning video. We show you exactly how to do it step by step. I'm gonna run through it briefly on this video. So you pull that retainer off the back, take your pick tool, and just reach in and pop those pins out. And once again, I'm just giving you guys the quick and dirty here. We've got a very in-depth video on how to do this. If you have any questions or if you have any troubles with it, be sure to check that out. Okay, now since I'm doing low beam right now, I'm going to be punching a hole into the dust cover right here. I'm just going to use a 7/8 unibit for that. Go ahead and pass your wiring through. Now if you're doing high beam on this truck, it's the exact same process. The only real difference is you just pull this bulb out and you drill a hole right here. That's it. There's nothing else that changes. So it's really convenient, it's really easy and straightforward. I'm going to pop this grommet in here. Okay. So I've got the grommet installed into the back of the dust cover. I'm going to repin this connector. First I'm going to just make sure that these are going to make a good contact in there. We don't want them popping out. That's the worst thing. Put our retainer back on. There it is, all reassembled. Red is on the right with this on top, red on the right. Low beam is good to go now. Now, if you're just doing low beam, you can just go ahead and screw this back in and proceed to the ballast mounting and install, and I'm going to show you guys that in a second. I'm going to do the high beam on this as well. So it's the same process, same idea. We're going to reach in here and get this bulb out. Unplug that, grab our HID bulb, give it a little shot of alcohol here just to make sure that it's clean. Go ahead and install the HID bulb into the headlight. Make this connection to your high beam wiring. You should see your original plug here. And once again, we're going to just match up positive to positive. In this case, red is our positive on the factory wiring, and we want red to go to red. Now we've got some D-pinning to do again. I'm going to punch this hole in our dust cover. And we're back to battling the grommet, getting that into the dust cover. Pass your D-pin wiring through, pass your HID bulb connections through. All right. We're gonna pull that wiring through. You can pull a little slack. You know, keep in mind how much you've got left on the other side. With the cover back on, you can go ahead and put the screws back in it. There's a gasket on this cap, and you just want to make sure that you crush that gasket a little bit so that it seals against water, moisture, debris, you know, dirt, stuff like that. All right, now the headlight's assembled. We're ready to go ahead and reinstall this into the truck as soon as we get our ballast taken care of. All right, now anybody that watched our Type B install video is gonna love what we've got here. I love these things. These are the best ballasts I've ever installed on these trucks. They've got a sticky backing on the mounting bracket itself. And what's nice about that is, you know, rather than trying to drill, self-drilling screws into this support here and having your drill fall off the screw and losing the screw into the abyss that is the engine bay, we're done with that. You just attach this, it clips right in, pull this sticky backing off. On these trucks, you don't need this ground wire. This is more for radio interference and stuff like that. So if you turn your HIDs on and you've got some static, you'd want this connected. On these trucks, it doesn't seem to be an issue. You can pull that off. Now, you're gonna wanna make sure that your core support, which is this right here, is clean, reasonably clean. If you can believe it or not, I have already wiped it down with rubbing alcohol, and it still looks dirty, but that stuff is like staining the white paint, and it's just not coming off. So pull the sticky backing off of the ballast, and we're gonna go ahead, and since we're doing a low beam and high beam install, I'm going to put one of them right here. All right. And the second ballast fits right in this crack between the core support and the headlight bucket. And it is sweet. Like I said, if you watch the Type B install, where you've got all those resistors and stuff like that, that's a lot of work. These, I mean, a guy can get this done in no time at all. So we're mounted, we're good to go. We can go ahead and put this headlight in, make these connections, and everything should be just fine. Now, I cannot stress the importance enough of cleaning these surfaces. If you clean them properly, the adhesive will stick great, and it's strong stuff. So make sure that you've got these where you want them before you get them completely stuck, because it's tough to get them off. We're going to make our connections to the first ballast. Right there. Second ballast. Now just take these modules that are attached to the ballast and just kind of tuck them out of the way. There's room down here. There's a few different holes and stuff like that in the front of this truck that you can put these things in. And while you bring the headlight in to install it, you need to connect your factory harness back up. That big connector at the bottom that we removed. We're going to get that factory connector plugged back in. You should hear a good click on that. If you don't, wiggle it around a little bit. Now we do have some new stuff back there, and it might take a few tries to get everything where it needs to be, where it won't hit the headlight. And that's fine, you know, just go gentle, and if it feels like it's hung up on something, pull the headlight out, reposition some things, and give it another try. Push the headlight in, you'll feel a click on the rear of it as that tab goes into place. And now we can throw our bolts back in and test this thing out. Let's make sure that it works just fine. All right, now, arguably the most important thing you can do on this install is get in and make sure that the lights work. You don't want to get the grill and everything reassembled to find out that you've got a connection flipped around the wrong way and it doesn't actually turn on. So looking at the front of the truck, it looks like everything's just fine. If you did high beams, go ahead and flick those on just to make sure that those light up as well. It looks like we got everything right on the first try. That's all it took to install the GTR Lighting Smart PWM ballast in this Ram 3500. It works great, works on the first try, there's no flickering. The best part is there's no harnesses, there's no self-drilling screws, there's no crazy battery connections. This thing just plugs in and it just works. You can get it done in no time. If you're doing the install, you got to do the passenger side yet. It is the same exact thing that we just did on this side. Be sure to check out our other videos, subscribe to our channel. We're always doing something new on these trucks. Thanks for watching.